We're Byron and Jill, two hands-on people with big dreams. In 2024, we jumped headfirst into our off-grid dream and purchased a 100-acre block at Mount Binga. After relocating here in 2025, our big goal right now is transforming this incredible century-old Ashgrovian Queenslander into our forever home. This isn't just a renovation, it's a complete transformation, a huge project demanding a lot of energy and time, and it's going to take everything we've got. And we'd love to have you along for the ride. Every challenge, every triumph, every step of the way.
Oh, good morning everyone. Welcome back to Off Grid at Mount Binga. We're heading up to the job this morning and we've got a fair bit to tackle. We're going to get stuck into these bay windows. We're going to get some boards on. We're going to do some fancy cuts. I'm going to show you some technical stuff, a bit of learning for me too. And then I might put some glass in. I might get a few fixed panels into this bay window while I'm in that area. So this one's going to be a fun one. While I'm up here, I'm going to do a little stock take and an order. And we need to do a bit of prep for the next episode while we're going, so let's get stuck into it. Hope you enjoyed this one. G'day everyone, welcome back. We're up here at the house again today and we're ready to get started into these set of boards here on the bay window. I appreciate everyone's comments from the last video. It's a good thing to know that everyone likes what we're doing up here, with or without Jilly. Like I said, it's sad she's gone now, but I'm glad I haven't lost anyone because of her. So I'll keep trucking on. Thanks everyone for the comments and the kind words. It's great. Anyway, enough of that sob story. Let's kick on with some boards. What we're going to do today up here at the house is work out a few angles where this bay window comes in to this wall just here. There's a few tricky bits. It's on a kick, comes down, it's also on an angle against the house. We'll work out the angle here and we'll make some cuts and we'll see if we can't get this little bay window boarded up. So what I've done here is just rigged up my level. Obviously level with this bay window, but it's also clamped onto the wall. What I'm trying to work out here is the angle that this bay window meets this house wall here. Once I work that angle there out, I can set my saw and I can make that cut. It's not a square cut, it's far from it. So let's work out that. And what I've got is my little sliding bevel. All I have to do is just get it firm, and I need to get it across the level, and find that nice line against the house there. So I've got that. There's my angle right there of the board that I need to cut. So of course then the problem is, what is this angle? How are we going to figure that out? So I've also got my trusty old sliding bevel, and you can see there it's got all the degrees of angle on it, all the way around from 0 to 180, 90 in the middle. So all I have to do is get this to transfer over onto this, and this little guy here is going to tell me what angle we've got. So I hold it parallel with the bottom of the sliding bevel. It might be hard to show you guys, but hang in there, we're going to figure this out. I'm just sliding that bevel around till we get to where we want to, and we have. And what I can see there is 36 degrees. that's our first cut. Well, there's two cuts actually. This is a compound miter cut, so it's also pitching out here where you can see, which means it's a compound cut, and there's a miter cut. Well, it's not quite a miter, it's 36 degrees, but it's also leaning out, so we need to check that angle as well. The best and easiest way to do that is off this little block I have on the wall. I've got that on the wall, so when these boards come in, I don't have to check in around this overlapping board here on the main house wall. It's going to be a neat finish up into that nice flat board. So to work out that compound cut, I just need to transfer that angle onto my sliding bevel right there. In the last episode, you will remember when I cut that little block on the other side, we started with 90mm at the bottom, full 50mm in height, and I cut that triangle block. This here is exactly the same angle. So I've just got to transfer that onto the sliding bevel. And what we have is 8 degrees. So that's nice and simple. Simple if you're following along. So we've got 36 degrees on our miter cut, and we've got 8 degrees on our compound cut. That means now we know that that angle's going to be easy to cut, and its friend here on the outside in the middle of nowhere is also going to be 36 degrees. So let's cut one board and see what happens. So you can see here I have my saw laid over to 36 degrees, and I've got my sliding deck on the bottom at 8 degrees. Let's make the first cut. Now the measurement is going to be 870mm, and that's short to short. Now that's a whole other thing I need to talk to you about. That's a tricky way to get a measurement, but for the first board it's what we need. So when we start getting to some long to longs, I'll explain a bit more about that. Alright, so I'm not going to lie, I'm struggling a bit. I thought I had the angles worked out, which I do on the wall, but over here is a lot different. So I've been playing around, and it's taken me over 30 minutes just to figure out this little corner here, and then it's got to meet the other corner on the other side of the bay window. So I didn't record it, but don't worry, I think I've got it sorted. Let me explain. I've got 36 degrees at a 10 degree compound over to this corner here, 36 degrees with half the compound of the other side. So we're working with a 5 degree and a 5 degree, 36 degrees here, onto 36 degrees, 36 degrees, 5, 5, 36 degrees, 10 onto the wall. I don't know, I've never come across this bay window with a kick out. It's been difficult. I'm struggling, like I said, so it's not always easy when you're doing these things, but you've just got to figure it out small steps at a time. And I think I've got it nutted out now, so I've got the angles very close to where they need to be. Not perfect, because I've got walls out of plumb as well, so I've figured that's thrown a bit of a spanner into the works. Anyway, what we're going to do is push on and see if we can work our way up here slowly but surely. Well, I'm 3 boards up now around this bay window, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm struggling. I'm not having a good run at all. Things are starting to get a little bit out. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I cut a board 5 times and it just won't fit. I think it's this little kick out that's really getting to me and making me think a little bit too much maybe. I don't know. But good thing is I'm about to get up to this flat surface here, so we're going to try and zoom through the next few boards and get it done. There's going to be a little bit of sanding on these miters, which is to be expected. I mean, I did a lot out the front on the front boards there, and that wasn't done by me. Let me just show you that actually. So this here is the front bay window, and you can see that I've been working on it, and I've had to do a lot of work on all these miters. We're getting it to a place where it's almost ready for paint here out the front. Same thing here. We've got some pretty wild miters, but once we bog it up, fill it, sand it, prep it, get everything right, it's going to paint up a real treat. There's no doubt about it. It's beautiful and smooth. Anyway, so I'm not the only one that's struggling. Here's a good example of that little kick out on the wall. And there's another good example of those boards with 140mm cover, and these little boards here with 90mm cover. That is our little feature there. Anyway, back to the bay window that needs a bit of work. So I haven't worked out these angles at all. I thought I did, and I thought I was, onto it at the start of the video, but I'm far from it. Now I'm lost in 5 degrees, 8 degrees, 12 degrees, 36 degrees, 30 degrees. It's a real tricky one, this one. We're making our way up, slowly but surely. We're going to glue up as we go. We're going to put plenty of nails in. Our miters aren't too bad. They'll need some sanding, but we're getting through it. It's slow. It's not like putting straight boards up, that's for sure, but there's nothing like a challenge, so we'll keep going, we'll keep pushing through. Oh, let me pull up for a minute. I need a break from this one. I've got something to show you guys. In my tool belt here, tucked away next to my little level, I'll get my level out a little bit. I've got a couple of punches there, my square, my chisel. It wraps around, but we'll go through my tool belt another day. What I want to show you is this special little tool here. Let me grab a seat. So this little tool here looks like a little lever bar. It's a little L-shaped bit of metal. Very simple tool. This here's got a story. It's been with me for 22 years now. In my tool belt, I've had many tool belts, but this is always in my tool belt. This was gifted to me, this very Hive tool, 22 years ago by my boss at the time when I started my apprenticeship. I had the nickname Baz. He said, "Hey Baz, throw this in your belt, you'll get using it and you'll never look back." I had no idea what it was. I didn't really know what it was for, but what I did know is that everyone in the whole crew had one. I noticed you couldn't buy them at the shops. You couldn't get them at Bunnings. Mitre 10, we had a home hardware. You couldn't get it there either. Any little shop, I'd never seen one. And at the time, I didn't know what a hive tool was. As the name says, it's a beehive tool. This here is a certain style of beehive tool. They do make a few different ones, but this is one of the common ones, and it's used for levering out the bee frames out of the beehive when you do checks. The team all had one, like I say, and I reckon after 22 years it's probably lost an inch, maybe a bit more in length. Every now and then I get my sander out and I put a little edge on the bottom. It's not a sharp edge, but it's still an edge, because if you've noticed in some videos, I use it for a lever. I also get my hammer and I hit the back of it. I'll hit nails. I'll use it as a little jimmy bar. There's a little hole here that actually fits clouts, so you would have seen in a couple of videos. Probably with some of these boards, I can get it up, put the nail head through the hole, pop it out, pulls out nails. I've even used it for smoko. Some days, back in the olden days, when I'd take a pasta or a bit of leftover dinner for lunch, and you'd forget your spoon or your fork, and oh, what have I got? This here doubles as a spoon. So I've often eaten smoko with this guy too. It's gone with me everywhere. It's one of my prized possessions, and the day I lose it, I'm going to be pretty upset. I mean, you can still get online or go to the bee shop or your bee supplier and still get hive tools, but they don't make them like they used to. I've bought a few new ones in the past. I had some for my apprentices. I used to give them out to anyone that didn't have one. I thought, you need a hive tool, you need to get one of these on you. It's very useful. So I've probably bought 20, maybe 30 hive tools over the year, but the quality of those new hive tools just aren't what they used to be. This here is super strong. I've put it through its paces. I've levered up some serious bit of gear, and never once it's bent, deformed or snapped in half, obviously. So anyway, that's a little tour around my most important tool in my tool belt, the old hive tool. Anyway, let's get back to these boards. I don't really want to, but we got to. Let's go. So, just like that, we now have our bay window done. We've got 11 boards here, 11 on each end. That's 33 boards. Every board had 2 cuts. So that's 132 cuts. And it didn't go as well as I thought it would. So I cut everything twice, probably 3 times. So double that again. So we're up around 270, probably 300 cuts just to get this done. It's taken me all afternoon. It's been a real struggle. But it's done now. All we're going to do is prep it up, which will be tomorrow. and tomorrow we'll also get stuck into some fixed glass. I'll take you through that. But right now, it's time to have a cold drink. Well, after yesterday's struggles, we thought we'd knock off, pack up, get home, have some dinner, get a good sleep, most importantly, and get back up here early the next day. While it's still fresh in my mind, we're going to tackle these fixed glass bay windows. I've got one here, I've got one here. These openings are set. They're fixed openings, so I can't change this structurally, but what I can do is modify the glass to fit into it, and that's going to take a little bit of cutting, some trimming. We've got to do some trimming over here. We've got to do some resizing of some windows. Let me show you the windows actually. These two little beauties right here are another Facebook purchase, and we met a lovely couple in the next town down the road, and they're renovating their own little house and doing a good job at it. So they were kind enough to let these go for a good price. Jill and I picked them up, and we knew we'd like to put them into the fixed glass section of the bay windows. Like I say, I've got to do a little bit of cutting and shutting, but we're going to get these fixed glass panels fitted in no time. Let's get stuck into it. So as you can see here, we've got a little bit of hardware on this left over from where that came from. So the first job I'll do, take all these bits off. Like I say, we've got to cut them down. And I believe they're flat screws. Let me have a look. Yes, they are. I've got the perfect tool for that. Let's get that sorted. Well, I've got my little right-angled high-koki drill. I specifically bought this for a job one time, one use only, but I get it out a fair bit actually. Got a nice little flat tip on it, and it goes nice and steady as long as you're not trigger happy, and it's been taking out flat screws like a champ. Some don't want to play ball though. Okay, so what we need to do here is we got 464 tight in the middle 465, and at the top 464. We can comfortably cut this one here at 460. This one right here behind you guys on the camera, 460 at the bottom, 462 in the middle, 465 at the top. So we're going to also make that one 460. Our height, 1210 on the left, 1210 on the right. Over here, 1215 on the left, a little bit bigger, 1218 on the right. Now I believe these windows are at 1200, so height's not an issue, it's just our width. This one's going to be our left side, this one's going to be our right side. We're going to cut them both at 460. At the moment they're quite bigger than that, so we need to find our centre. And we've got 212 dead centre. Then from the middle we need to measure each way, and half of 460 is 230. Simple maths. We mark it there, then we extend our tape back this way and we get our 460. So we are going to be wasting 28mm off the side of these windows, and that's going to be fine. It's going to work out well. This is just a straight edge. We're not using the square end of this tool. This is a T-square, but I'm just using it as a ruler. So we can mark down where our cut's going to be. Just like that. Fingers crossed, these fit into our openings. Oh well, it's always worth giving everything a dry fit before you go and nail anything in or glue anything in, just to be sure it's going to fit. And guess what? That's absolutely perfect. So there you also get a sneak peek at what it's going to look like, which is quite nice. Fresh coat of paint on this, some cladding on the wall, an architrave around there. Beautiful. Now this one in the middle we haven't bought yet, but we do want to have an open set of windows here so we can let the breeze come through while we sit here and have a morning coffee or an afternoon beer. Anyway, dry fit sorted. We can now prime these up. Don't forget to paint your raw cuts all the time, especially on doors and windows. Carry a little rag with you. Wipe off the excess. Everyone's going to have excess. Wipe it off. There we go. So while we wait for the paint to dry, we need to trim this window out. These windows have to sit up against something, a stopper or a trim, so they don't fall out, obviously. That way on the outside you can no more gap it and paint it, and then it's sealed to the weather. On the inside, with this style, it's fairly different to normal. I'm going to keep it flush with the inside, and then when we eventually trim and clad this wall, I'll be putting an architrave straight directly onto the window itself. That way it'll be almost a flush finish with the front of the cladding here, or front of the internal wall, and I just think that'll come up the best. There's definitely a few options when you get to these things, but you just got to think about how you want it to sit and how you think it's going to look. So just weigh up what you've been thinking and pick the best option, and this is the best option for us. It might not be the option for everyone, so remember, it works here on this house with these windows, and it may not work everywhere else. So I'm just going to measure each trim now, glue them on, nail them on. By then hopefully the paint's gone dry, and we can then glue these windows in. Whoa, 14. 12, 14. 12, 15. 12, 15. That makes life easier. So I'm just marking the setback for these trims. Like I say, I'm going to mount them to the face of the inside. All I need to do is measure back the thickness of the window itself, or the fixed glass panel, and it's 36 mil, so I'm marking 37 mil here, top and bottom. And the trick is, on this old house, we're not going to use our level. We're not going to plumb these marks up. I'll plumb it up. Yes, the window might be plumb. It might run out of parallel with the house itself. So on this job, level comes out. Probably not as much as it should, but that's for a reason. This house surely is not plumb. So we just need to get some parallel lines here. And then making sure everything fits before we glue it up. There's no point gluing everything up and then heading back to the saw to trim it down, getting glue everywhere. And that's a perfect example. That one there is too long. We'll trim that down. Nice little bead of glue in the middle of each trim. Liquid nails. Bulletproof stuff. We don't just glue one, we glue four. We got nail four on. We may as well glue them all at once. First trim, let's go. I'm gonna mark at the top, mark at the bottom. 2 nails in the middle. It's plenty. Plus glue. Rock solid. Okay, side trim's done. We need a header and a sill trim. 426, 425, 430. Okay, so we're going to go 428 times 2, 425 times 2. Just another dry fit to make sure it's going to work. So we're going to glue these in with a bit of silicone. This will be a bit of waterproofing at the same time. We'll get them pushed in. We'll wedge them up so they're sitting as square as they can be. And we'll let the glue dry and we'll work on getting some fixings into them later. But in the meantime, I'm just going to whack a bit of silicone around them, push them in, wedge them up straight, let them go off, let them set, let them dry. Yeah, I've got a nice healthy bead of silicone going on here. More the better. Don't skimp on this product. Or if you're sealing in anything, don't skimp on it. I mean, if it oozes out, it's all good because, as I say that, I run out with half a trim to go. Give me a second. Alright, take 2. What I was saying was, whatever excess silicone comes out while it's wet, leave it there. It's much easier to deal with this product when it's gone dry. So if it oozes out the front, let it ooze out the front. Once it's dry, come back the next day, get a sharp knife or a sharp chisel and just peel the silicone off. It's much easier than going outside now with a rag and spreading that silicone everywhere. Okay, so the first one went in perfectly. Second one. Just like that. Beautiful fit. Nice and firm. Squished all that silicone right up. What do you think about that? Get him across a little bit at the top here. I think it's going to be just lovely. A couple of wedges. And there she is. Absolutely beautiful. Really stoked with that. Well, there you have it. Just like that, we got through this wall, the hardest wall in the house. It sure did test me. We got through it though. We also got our fixed glass in, and we're making our way around slowly but surely. Thanks for hanging on this long. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I appreciate the feedback. It's been great. We've got some really nice people following us, and we love reading the comments and getting back to you guys. We'll do our best to keep the content coming out. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again soon. Thought I'd throw in a little bonus section. A couple of you guys have been asking what tool belt I've been running. So here I have one-sided pouch, Occidental leather, in green. I love it in green. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pouches. A spot for my punches, my small level, my Hive tool, my chisel, and my nips. I've got a buckaroo belt, which is the thick belt with all the nice padding on the inside. I've got a set of old Makita suspenders. These things are a game changer. That means I can have my belt a little bit loose, and this here's holding it all up. I used to work all day without these, and I'd get home at the end of the day and I would have bruises on my hips from my tool belt. That went on for years and years, and then I started wearing suspenders. Everything changed. I also mounted my own little tape measure clip here. I love having the tape right there, not in a pouch, on its own. I've got a buckaroo hammer holder, holds my pencil, normally a pen or two, my Stanley knife, and at the back, tin snips, screwdriver, shifter, punch, and a set of pliers. I don't get used much out the back there, but when I need it, it's there on me. Anyway, fits like a treat. My shoulders carry most of the weight, which is really good. I normally hook any tool on the front here. It might be a drill or a nail gun. Got a spot here for that. Otherwise, that's got today sorted. Let's get out of this thing. Day's done. Thanks for watching.